So today, before we get started, if you like this kind of content, make sure you're subbed to the channel. Check out the links, including Case of the Littlest Umbrella. And apologies, I'm making this on the go, so if there's any sound quality issues or anything, try to fix that on the next go. So hey there, so today we are returning to that wonderful world of laugh tracks, and apparently those have rolled into role-playing. Now, if you haven't checked out some of the insanity that's gone on with role-playing lately, oh man, you have missed out on one heck of a trash fire. When I say trash fire, I'm talking about things like hashtag RPMeToo or RoleplayMeToo, which is the role-playing version of, well, you can guess what hashtag. When you look at that as well, you know what would qualify you is mansplaining rules. That would be the same thing as real-life assault. Also, going in and playing a character wrong. Too much charisma makes that character, again, like real-life assault. I mean, insanity like that. Now, of course, all of this is being held under terms like what the BBC says here. Dungeons and Dragons is not just for a bunch of beardy boys in the basement. It's for everybody and anybody. Now, the video that goes with this is pretty freaking cringe. And, well, we're going to skip that part because we know exactly how some of these places operate. But I want to show you something under that really highlights exactly what things have gone to. And along with this, remember, there are rule sets that actually tell you how to be a better DM, how to be more open to people that are asking for changes. And well, look at some of these statements here. So I have to give props to the person that posted this. They say, if someone wants to play D&D and with my group, great. I always feel like that too. If you want to play with the group, that's awesome. Don't care who you are. Let's all get together and have fun. But if they act like this, or hand me a list of requirements, I'm telling them to get lost. I'm not going to go near a group with a DM or player like this. So check this stuff out. I mean, it's amazing here. So here you have a thread, a list of things that make me, a queer trans POC, want to leave a D&D game. The only POC live in tribes. The only POC are exotic and are quote-unquote Asian expired. The only POC are black and live in barbaric settlements. The only POC are monstrous races like orcs, drow, etc. Can you imagine putting in dark elves into that? The only people of color are dark elves, you say? Oh my God. You do also know that that's kind of slanderous to call dark elves monstrous because, hey, we know about a certain Duerden. Well, he wasn't a monster, was he? We found out all about those with the Forgotten Realms books and expansions. But hey, let's set that aside. I like how they tell you, too, that if you're setting up with a certain environment and you have people living in tribes, can't have that set up. That's too offensive. If you have exotic, quote-unquote, people of color, that's too much. I mean, again, looking at this stuff, living in barbaric settlements, oh man, if those aren't a bunch of straight white guys, I am totally out of this group, man. Totally out of this group. So here's the next part. The only POC are from one vaguely Middle Eastern inspired civilization. And they're the bad guys. Oh my goodness. The DM's a weeboo. Any colonizer BS. Fantasy racism as a plot hook. Fantasy racism. Fantasy slavery as a plot hook. Slavery. Have I mentioned white colonizer BS? So again, you notice the name right off there. You notice that white, that qualifier that you get along with stuff, because it's not about slavery. It's about slavery with a qualifier. Again, can't use that stuff as a plot hook there. If you have a character in your group that, well, they don't like certain races, that's monstrous as well. So, if you have an elf that, plays like an elf, like that stereotypical idea, they don't like dwarfs, can't have this person in your party. Sounds like a fun person, right? Yes, that means you too. White people are colonizers, and if you want to include people of color, you need to decolonize your writing and your language. If the only POC are also the bad guys, do not make the only POC the only bad guys. Don't do it. Be a D. Wow, isn't that amazing there? I mean, when you look at that again, yes, that means you, white people, you're colonizers out there. And if you want to include POC, well, you need to decolonize your writing and your language. Oh man, if you don't run this stuff a specific way, if you don't appease me, well, you sound like a real loss to the group. I'm telling you, you sound like I would really be missing out on so much. So yeah, when you look at this stuff, I mean, it's so insane, and it just keeps going. Cis DMs with badly written trans NPCs. Is that a thing? Like, do you bring in trans NPCs or quote-unquote cis players? I mean, is that how you look at gaming? That doesn't sound like a lot of fun either. Straight DMs using queer baiting techniques. Again, same freaking thing there. What in the world are you playing at here? I'm talking about going in, looting some dungeons, having a good setup, enjoying myself, and you're bringing in identity, you're bringing in sexuality and whatnot. Interesting. In-game homophobia used as a plot hook against my queer PC. I face enough of that in real life. I play D&D to escape that BS. Can you imagine, again, that much detail added to the identity of the character? Can you imagine what that would be like playing with this person? Oh, and if they have bad roles, you can imagine them too, like flipping over everything and being like, screw you guys, I'm going home. Also, that's why I hate fantasy racism. Ableist language used by either players or DMs. Ableist language. You realize that saying dumb or stupid or foolish, all of these things, if you really look up ableist language, you're in for a heck of a treat. I mean, if you've never looked into what's included in there. Dim, oh man, that's dim. That's ableist language. You need to go. That'll be a lot of fun trying to write that adventure. I'm sure it'll have a lot of quality there. Mental illness being gamified. This is controversial. Some mentally ill folks like seeing representation, but which is good. But I personally am not comfortable with rolling dice to see if my PC's mental illness will happen. Oh man, so there you're stuck in a quandary, having to try to describe yourself out because you've said that you're biased against a group. Isn't that ableist? Isn't that nasty? Weird how those rules work, huh? Being told you can make your character queer trans as long as it's not their whole personality, huh? So basically, I can go in and I can run my character how I want. If that's going to be the whole personality to the character, well, screw it. So you're okay with diversity as long as it's not visible. Cool. I know which game and person to avoid now. Look at all those okay symbols. Oh my God, is this a colonizer too? Looking at that though, can you imagine there? Yeah, you can make your character with identity markers, but I'm not planning on running a campaign like that. What are you saying? I mean, what kind of game is this? Am I not invited to the table? Fun times, Lord. And the last part, be aware of the emotional labor you are demanding from people. While I love educating people about stuff like this, I am not your personal teacher. I'm not going to hold your hand and walk through this. Google is free. So not only do they want all this stuff from you, but they expect you to go out and research that in addition to all of the gameplay mechanics, because, oh my God, if they don't do something right, well, Google's free. How dare you offend me? White cishet people, educating yourself is good. Unlearn your biases and be a better ally for minority players. You people need to put in some work as well. Don't lean on your minority friends to put in the work for you. Be aware of how much space you take up. Be better. Be aware of how much space you take up. That's really a lovely way of talking about people that you're around. You're just kind of a waste of space. Be aware of that while we're talking about it. If you're not cognizant of how I feel, my fifis, they may just trample all over you. If you read this and are uncomfortable, examine your privilege and ask yourself why you're feeling that way. In a world that's constantly changing, you need to be aggressively anti-BS. Being passive puts you on the side of the aggressor. Oh my Lord. When you look at this stuff, like I said, what do you think about it? Would you want to invite this to your table? Could you imagine what kind of a show you would be in for? It might be funny for a little while, but at the same time, you could not run adventures like you would want to. You couldn't have the kind of fun that you were planning on. Nope, this person, they would hijack your adventure. And again, I'm sure that if they started experiencing bad rolls, I'm sure they would just flip everything over and say it's somehow your fault. It's somehow you not knowing the rules to play. Didn't you Google that stuff? If you didn't, they're not there to educate you. So anyway, you tell me what you think about this. And remember, of course, there are booklets out there to really, really drain all that wrong think right out your brain. So anyway, tell me what you think. If you like this kind of content too, make sure you're subbed to the channel. Make sure that you hit that bell. You know the drill by now. Check out the links in the description. Our comic book is there. I definitely want people to check that out if you haven't. Leave me your comments, pro and con too. I want to know what you think. Maybe you totally disagree with me here. That's okay. And I want to thank you for showing up. A lot of people out there have forgotten exactly who empowers endeavors. That's you. They need to learn it. If they don't, well, other people can fill that void. So anyway, Indy, thank you. Appreciate you. We'll do it again soon.